Who doesn't remember the character of Otis Campbell on the Andy Griffith Show? This character was played by the lovable Hal Smith. It's amazing to think that Otis Campbell appeared in more episodes of the Andy Griffith Show than Gomer Pyle did. The character of Otis was the Mayberry town drunk. But let's give the character some respect. He did give us a lot of laughs. Hal Smith was brilliant as he played this town drunk. He was typically incarcerated. Most of his shots in the Andy Griffith Show were from behind bars. And oddly enough, Otis was one of the few recurring characters on the show who was married. Hal Smith was born in northern Michigan, but he grew up in upstate New York. After he graduated from high school in 1936, he worked as a disc jockey for a radio station called WIBX in Utica, New York. He was also used as voice talent in that radio station too. When he was a teenager, he joined a group called Johnny Morrison and His Crazy Cats, and they sang tunes and did impressions. One of his signature numbers was called the Prisoner's Song, which he would come out on stage dressed as a prisoner. Who would have known that 3 decades later he would spend plenty of time behind bars on the Andy Griffith Show? After he moved to Los Angeles, he landed a job as the Pancake Man, which hosted a children's program sponsored by International House of Pancakes. The Brady Bunch episode The Winner would pay tribute to this part of Smith's history, casting him as a similar kids' TV host named Cartoon King. He had a tendency to play child favorites a lot. In the Brady Bunch, he played Santa Claus. Cindy Sits on His Lap in the Voice of Christmas episode. He actually played Santa Claus more than a dozen times in a variety of different television productions. He's even the voice of Santa Claus in the Flintstones. Now, Hal was truly the Cartoon King, and not just from the Brady Bunch. He voiced countless cartoon characters for just about every major animation house, from Disney to Hanna-Barbera. He was the voice of the owl in Disney's Winnie the Pooh features, and he could manipulate his voice so well that he was called to be a substitute for different voice actors that he needed to replace. He took over as Elmer Fudd after Arthur Q. Bryan passed away. Hal was truly one of the busiest voice actors in Hollywood. He also slipped back into his Otis threads for a cameo appearance in 1991 for Alan Jackson's video, Don't Rock the Jukebox. Now, this came 5 years after the Andy Griffith Show reunion movie Return to Mayberry, in which we learned that Otis had sobered up and become an ice cream man. In the music video, he's still a drunk, though. In the Fantasy Island episode, Thank God I'm a Country Girl, he was in it with Loretta Lynn. In the episode, they paid tribute to his career in two really subtle ways. For starters, his character was named Otis. Secondly, he wore a chef's outfit, much like the one he wore as the Pancake Man. Now, Hal Smith's resume is super long. He has been in numerous television shows and movies. You'll see him pop up in things like Leave It to Beaver. He plays a manager of a restaurant in Leave It to Beaver, but he's constantly popping up in these small roles all over the small screen. But where he really shined was in his voice acting. And to add one more accomplishment to his list of credits, he was in a ton of television commercials. He was in Three Musketeers, United Van Lines, Hickory Farms, Toyota, Green Giant, General Mills, Mattel, and it goes on and on and on, all the way to Coca-Cola. Although he played a drunk on television, he was actually a teetotaler in real life. It's thought that he didn't drink at all. Later in his career, he actually did a commercial for Mothers Against Drunk Driving. It's so fun to think about the episodes of the Andy Griffith Show where he comes in and at some point even has his own key to the courthouse. Comes in, grabs the key, lets himself into his cell, and sleeps it off, and then gets up and goes about his own business. Now, he was married to Louise from 1936 until her death in 1992. They had a son named Terry. After his wife's death in 1992, his own health began to deteriorate very rapidly. On January 28, 1994, at the age of 77, Hal Smith died from an apparent heart attack. He died at his home in Santa Monica while he was listening to the nightly drama hour on radio. He's interred in the mausoleum at Woodlawn Cemetery in Santa Monica. Now, I've actually visited his entombment there, and it's kind of along the back wall. If you walk in the front door and just walk straight to the back, you'll see it on the left. It's on the corner. His wife, himself, and his son are buried in the third level up. Just down the hall is Granny from the Beverly Hillbillies, and right out the door and to your left is Barbara Billingsley from Leave It to Beaver fame, and she played June Cleaver there. So if you're ever in Santa Monica, go by and take a look at this cemetery. It's a very pretty cemetery, and you can see quite a few. There's also some other celebrities that are buried there, but just in fairly close proximity, you can see those three. What great characters you played, Hal Smith. We loved you on the Andy Griffith Show, and we want to thank you so much for all the laughs that you gave us. Thank you so much for watching, guys, and come back next time and we'll keep chasing the classics.